He was the brightest among the stars, the morning star himself, Lucifer, crafted in perfect beauty and wisdom, his light second only to the Creator's own. But what happens when light turns inward and dares to outshine the very source that gave it birth? What if the greatest battle in history wasn't waged with swords and armies, but with the very essence of light and shadow, with eternity itself hanging in the balance? In this video, we journey into the untold depths of a celestial rebellion, how whispers of pride shattered the harmony of heaven, how an angel's desire to ascend became the universe's first and greatest war, and how Michael was chosen to stand between creation and chaos. Yet what began in heaven did not end there, and its echoes still reverberate through every heart that faces the choice between pride and obedience. Long before mountains pierced skies or oceans gathered their depths, the heavens stood vast and eternal, resplendent with unbroken harmony. Legions of angels filled the endless halls with music that resonated like rivers of living light. Every chord, every voice, every shimmer of wings joined a song of perfect unity. Above all stood one who seemed to gather the light of dawn into himself, Lucifer, the morning star. His wings shimmered with hues no mortal could comprehend. His voice carried the power to hush storms or stir the hearts of the hosts into anthems of praise. His mind, sharp as the first blade of sunrise, grasped the mysteries of creation with ease. His beauty was a reflection of divine artistry, and in him heaven rejoiced. But beauty admired can become beauty obsessed. In moments of stillness, Lucifer's gaze lingered on his reflection in the sea of glass before the throne of the Almighty. At first, he marveled at the Creator's gift, but wonder curdled into self-admiration. Praise turned to private musings.
Why should one as glorious as I bow forever? Why kneel when I was made so perfect?
Michael saw the change begin, subtle, like hairline cracks in flawless glass. His tone shifted. His questions lost the awe of worship and gained the sharpness of challenge. Where he once sang hymns of reverence, he began composing songs of independence, weaving freedom with ambition. He carried these whispers like embers, careful at first, kindling curiosity in angels who once sang beside us. He asked them,
Why should servitude be eternal? Shouldn't those of such magnificence deserve more?
His words fell like seeds into hearts that once burned only with devotion. And what begins as a question can become a poison. The harmony of heaven trembled. Murmurs grew in the corridors of light. Cherubim who once danced around the throne began to hesitate in their flight. Seraphim who sang with tongues of flame fell quiet. Thrones and dominions assembled, each sensing an ominous shift. Even the sea of glass, mirror of heaven's peace, darkened with the shadow of a coming storm. Lucifer's words spread with a seductive power. He promised that each angel could ascend, that heaven's order was a cage, a prison keeping the mighty from their destiny. He wrapped rebellion in the silk of purpose. Some believed, others feared. The hosts divided in secret thoughts long before they took sides with swords. Michael stepped into his path. He called out,
You were created in brilliance, but you were created. There's no light in us apart from him. Submit your pride before it devours you.
But Lucifer's eyes, once bright with innocent light, now gleamed with cold resolve.
You fear change, Michael. I do not.
He replied, his voice like a blade. His ambition, once hidden, bloomed openly. He gathered angels of renown, warriors, musicians, counselors, weaving them into a faction. Each day, new wings joined his shadowed ranks. Some were deceived by his words, others drawn by the promise of thrones. Some simply followed the crowd, swept along by the storm of pride. A third of the heavenly host. That was the weight of his deception. The Almighty watched in silent sorrow, his patience as vast as eternity. He offered Lucifer time, space, and countless chances to turn. Mercy draped over rebellion like a shield, but pride pushed it away. The fracture widened, the courts of heaven filled with tensions that could no longer be ignored. Then the silence shattered. The voice of the Most High thundered across heaven, not with rage, but with finality.
No rebellion shall remain in my presence.
Michael was chosen to carry out his will. He did not seek this role. He did not thirst for war. But justice called, and he answered. He gathered the faithful, seraphim burning like rivers of fire, cherubim with shields of living light, hosts of angels arrayed not in gold but righteousness. Theirs swords were not forged of mortal steel, but of divine light, each inscribed with the eternal truths of the one we served. Across the divide, Lucifer waited. The morning star had become the father of lies. Darkness clung to him like a crown of ash. His legions, wings now like blackened thunderclouds, stood ready. Heaven itself was divided. 2 armies, 2 wills, 2 destinies. It began not with roars, but silence so deep it swallowed time. Then from Lucifer's lines came a cry, sharp and ragged with pride and rage. His army surged like a storm of darkness, blades drawn, wings cutting the air. I raised my sword. Heaven roared in response. The clash was beyond mortal imagining. Blades of pure light crashed against swords of twisted shadow. Each strike unleashed shockwaves that rippled across the firmament. Galaxies shuddered, stars dimmed. This was not war of flesh and bone, but of essence. Light against darkness, truth against deceit. In the skies, cherubim formed shining shields. Seraphim unleashed songs of fire that split shadow. The faithful fought with holy resolve, every movement a hymn of loyalty. But Lucifer was a tempest unchained. He wielded power stolen and corrupted. He conjured illusions, bent light into mazes, flung false stars to blind and confuse the loyal host. His rage set the heavens ablaze. He met him at the heart of the storm, his wings spread wide, eyes burning like dying suns.
You could have stood with me, Michael.
He hissed.
Together we could have ruled.
There is only one worthy to rule,
He replied. They clashed. Their swords struck with force enough to shake the dimensions of reality. Sparks of eternal fire burst around them. The skies twisted as their blades danced, every strike a battle of wills. Lucifer screamed, summoning storms of uncreation. He hurled rifts of darkness.
See what I can do.
He cried.
I am power. I am destiny.
No,
Michael said, parrying.
you are pride.
He called upon the name of the Almighty. His sword shone brighter than the morning sun. Around them, angels sang notes that cut through the illusions. Cherubim guarded the throne. Seraphim poured holy fire. The loyal host advanced. Lucifer's strength faltered. His power cracked. He gathered all that remained into a final storm, a dark corona of fury. But Michael raised his sword, not with his own strength, but in the authority of the one who sent him. He cried out the eternal word.
Holy.
Light erupted, not with violence, but with truth. It met the storm and consumed it. Lucifer screamed as his illusions shattered. His wings blackened, his eyes burned with terror.
I am not done. I am still here.
He shrieked.
You were done the moment you rebelled.
He said. With one final blow, the light of the Most High pierced the heavens. Lucifer fell, not through space, but through eternity, cast from the heights of paradise into the void. His followers fell with him, swept in a storm of righteous judgment. Silence returned to the battlefield. Heaven sighed as one. The throne stood unmoved, shining with perfect peace. He did not lift his arms in triumph. He fell to his knees in reverence, knowing this was not my victory, but the fulfillment of the Almighty's will. Heaven was whole again. The air itself felt stiller, cleaner, but solemn. The wounds would heal, but the memory would linger forever, a scar etched in eternity. Yet, as he laid down his sword before the throne, he knew the war had not truly ended. It had only moved to a new battlefield, Earth, where the same voice that once deceived angels would now whisper to mankind. The question remains, when the ancient choice comes knocking, will you follow the voice of humility or the whisper of pride?